Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the horrifying attack that just happened in Germany.
Yeah, just days before Christmas, too. It's December 20th, 2024.
A bustling Christmas market in Magdeburg full of people.
And a black BMW just plows right through the crowd.
It's just awful. At least 5 people dead, including a toddler.
And over 200 injured. We need to try and make sense of this.
Absolutely. Let's start by setting the scene.
So, picture this. It's the Magdeburg Christmas market, families everywhere enjoying the holidays.
Right, the lights, the smells, the festive atmosphere.
And then out of nowhere, this car. A black BMW rental.
Tears through the heart of it all.
Traveling at high speed for over 400 meters. Can you imagine?
The eyewitness accounts are truly chilling. People describe absolute pandemonium. Screams, people running, injured, lying amongst the debris.
Devastating. And to think, just moments before, it was a place of joy.
The human cost is just unfathomable.
5 dead. A toddler among them.
Over 200 injured. Each number, a life changed forever.
Right, and think about the trauma inflicted on the witnesses. The first responders who saw it all.
Deep scars impacting the entire community.
Absolutely. The psychological effects are enormous.
Now the suspect, a 50-year-old Saudi doctor named Talib al-Abdul Mohsen,
was apprehended quickly, thankfully.
just minutes after the attack at a nearby tram station.
So let's try to understand who he is. Talib A. It's a perplexing case.
He'd been living in Germany since 2006, granted refugee status in 2016, working as a psychiatrist in Bernburg.
But then you look at his online persona, and a disturbing, complex picture starts to emerge.
We're seeing reports of him being very outspoken against Islam. He identified as an ex-Muslim.
Right, and he even claimed that Germany was persecuting Saudi asylum seekers.
But alongside these statements, there's also a lot of right-wing content.
He expressed sympathy for the AfD, the far-right party in Germany.
So he seems to be involved with these opposing ideologies.
It is confusing, to say the least.
This is quite baffling. He'd post about the Islamization of Europe and then claim to help Saudis escape to Germany.
And then advise against seeking asylum there. What do we make of these contradictions?
Yeah. What was his true motivation? Anti-Muslim sentiment? Right-wing extremism?
Perhaps a personal vendetta? Or maybe some combination.
A tangled web? It's a question investigators will be grappling with for a long time.
Absolutely. It's a mystery, for sure.
Yeah.
And to make things even more confusing, there are claims that the Saudi government actually warned German authorities about Talib A's extremist views.
Wow. If that's true, it raises some serious questions about how well intelligence is shared between countries.
Definitely. How can we possibly identify and keep track of these potential threats, especially when they're growing online, hidden in the dark corners of the internet?
It's a whole new world of security threats.
It really is. Security agencies worldwide are struggling with this.
We're not dealing with traditional terrorist groups anymore.
Right. It's individuals radicalized online, acting alone.
So even if Talib A did act alone, as the authorities currently believe, we have to consider that his radicalization might have happened in online echo chambers.
Absolutely. It's chilling to think about. These online spaces can be breeding grounds for extremism.
We need to understand how this online radicalization happens. What are the factors that draw people in?
Exactly. What role do these algorithms and online communities play? These are crucial questions that we need answers to.
And then there's the impact this has on German society as a whole.
Right. This attack happened just days before Christmas.
At a Christmas market, a symbol of joy, community, tradition.
It's an attack on those very things. It shatters our sense of security, disrupts our traditions.
And it's bound to have a ripple effect.
We're already seeing increased security at Christmas markets all over Germany.
Some are even closing down entirely.
Understandable, but heartbreaking nonetheless.
This could really cast a shadow over the entire holiday season for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And it could further inflame political tensions, especially with the federal elections coming up.
That's a great point. This tragedy could easily be used by different political groups to push their own agendas.
Take the AfD, the far-right party that's been gaining popularity. They could exploit this to push their anti-immigration stance.
It's a very sensitive situation. How this event is talked about in the next few weeks could really affect the political landscape.
And beyond the immediate political consequences, we also need to consider the long-term impact on the conversation around security and integration in Germany.
This attack could lead to increased anxiety, calls for stricter immigration control, maybe even more surveillance.
It's a complex issue with no easy solutions.
We need to have thoughtful, nuanced discussions. We need to understand what causes extremism.
Absolutely. Knee-jerk reactions and blaming entire groups won't help anyone.
We need real solutions that promote tolerance and inclusion.
I agree. Evidence-based solutions that address the true complexity of the problem.
Now, going back to Taliban for a moment, some reports are focusing on some very concerning online activity in the days leading up to the attack.
Right. There's a video from about a week before the attack where Taliban claims there's a German government conspiracy against Saudi ex-Muslims.
And then, just minutes before the attack, he uploads another video essentially saying that Germany is responsible for what might happen to him.
It's chilling. It seems like he was planning this, creating a justification for his actions.
It offers a glimpse into his mindset.
It certainly does, and it makes you wonder if there were any warning signs that we missed. Could we have intervened?
Those are questions investigators will be looking into as they try to understand what led to this awful event. This whole thing feels like a brand new kind of threat. Individuals on their own, radicalized online, able to inflict such immense damage.
It's terrifying, truly. This case, it really throws a light on how difficult it is to spot and stop these threats.
These individuals, they don't fit the old profiles of extremism.
Right, their motives, it can be such a confusing mix of personal issues and online influence.
That's just a mess.
But as we try to grapple with this tragedy, we can't forget the victims.
Of course not.
The families, their lives completely shattered.
And the whole community left to pick up the pieces after this attack.
Absolutely. Their stories, they have to be at the forefront as we discuss the bigger issues. And while we wrestle with these tough questions this attack raises, we have to remember our empathy.
I agree.
Compassion, too. This horrific act, it happened at a Christmas market, a place that should represent joy, togetherness. It's a harsh reminder of how fragile those things really are.
It's a tough topic, no question.
Yeah.
But we need to have these hard conversations.
You're absolutely right. This wasn't just some random, isolated event.
Sadly.
We've seen extremist violence growing all around the world.
It's a worrying trend.
Yeah.
And it underlines the need for, a multi-pronged approach to tackling it.
Exactly. We need to look at social and economic inequalities.
Right.
We need to fight back against online radicalization efforts. We need stronger international cooperation and a real focus on education, and critical thinking skills.
It's complicated, that's for sure.
It is, but we can't just ignore it. It's too important.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Okay.
In a world where these extremist ideas can spread so quickly online, where people can be radicalized in these echo chambers of the internet, what can we actually do?
What concrete steps can we take to foster real dialogue?
Understanding.
Tolerance. How do we stop similar tragedies from happening in the future?
Big questions.
They really are. Questions that need our full attention, our critical thinking, and ultimately our action. We need to work together on this. Let this awful event be a wake-up call.
Yeah.
A stark reminder that building a peaceful world takes constant work, empathy that doesn't waver, and a commitment to fight hate wherever we see it.
We all have a role to play in creating a world where things like this become unthinkable.
Exactly.
A world where Christmas markets and every public space can truly be places of joy and celebration.
That's the goal.
Let's honor the victims of this attack by dedicating ourselves to making that happen. Thanks for joining us today.